Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Today we're chatting with Doug Hurst from Northern Vertex. But before we bring Doug on, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like our content. Hey Doug, welcome to The Dive.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so let's start with the price of gold. What are the key metrics you are watching when assessing the overall price of gold?
You know what? Any business plan that we pull together really predicates the plan on the current price of gold. And if the idea and the business plan works at the current price of gold, then we're quite satisfied. And so if we get an upward movement in the price of gold, then the plan works a little better. And if the price of gold moves down, then it doesn't work quite as well. So we are hopeful, and clearly all the indicators are in place for a rising price of gold. And Bitcoin has had a bit of the air taken out of their tires lately, and there's a pretty good chance that some of that money will come into gold as a safe hedge.
In your view, does the price of gold need to go much higher for producers to start commanding more interest on the equity markets?
No, I think that the equity markets just have to shift their attitude about what safe assets are, and for some reason, the markets think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a safe asset, and I think the recent volatility is sort of disproving that theory to a certain degree.
For our audience new to the story, what is the high-level overview of Northern Vertex?
Yeah, so Northern Vertex has a open pit heap leach mine in northern Arizona, produces between 30 and 40,000 ounces a year. And Northern Vertex recently merged with a company called Eclipse Gold. So I was the chair, I was one of the directors of Eclipse Gold. And the reason why Eclipse merged with Vertex is that we saw that it was a good operation. It was stable, it was generating positive cash flow, but the most incredible thing about it was the exploration potential. So if you look at the mine operation itself, there's about 500,000 ounces in about 1.5 kilometers of mine, and there's 10 kilometers of veins sticking out of the surface on other parts of the project, which have had very, very little drilling. So we just saw that the exploration potential is extraordinary, and so our vision is a couple of years out that we will have done a lot of drilling. We will have been able to prove up a much larger resource, and we'll be in the planning stages of a much larger operation. So that's our basic business premise.
So what can you tell us about Arizona as a mining jurisdiction?
Well, Arizona is a very has a long-standing status as a mining jurisdiction. Arizona has mostly been copper, very, very large copper mines all through Arizona. But the interesting thing about northern Arizona is there's a lot of gold geology. The rocks that hold gold come over the state line from Nevada, and so you've got the Walker Lane trend in Nevada, and it comes into northern Arizona, which is exactly where we are. So the geology that we have is very similar to that of Nevada.
So you closed an acquisition with Eclipse Gold back in February. What benefits should shareholders look to in regards to this acquisition?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, the previous management of Vertex did a very good job in holding the operation and working through the bugs of starting production. But what Eclipse brings to the table is that we have this a much larger capability of capital markets knowledge, so that we can raise capital when many of the previous Vertex management found problematic. We also are starting to tell the story more effectively or more broadly than previous management. And so the Eclipse management has a fairly good track record of business acquisitions, and a few takeovers. There's sort of a brag board in our presentation, which shows that that the management of Eclipse and actually some of the directors of Vertex have had a long track record of success. And so that's what Eclipse really brought to the table.
Yeah, you've been involved in a series of successful companies. So what do you look for when evaluating a project before choosing to get involved?
Well, you know what? The whole process of planning the business model is a process of risk mitigation. So there are a whole bunch of risks in the industry. You know, the mining industry is very risky to begin with, and there are a whole bunch of risks that you can deal with, and there are those that you can't. And so, what you do is you to try to enhance shareholders' value, you try to get rid of the risks or to mute the risks that you really can't control. Things like the price of gold. So you try to bring your costs down. You try to organize your operations so that it makes positive cash flow at many different metal prices. So that's one risk, and that's a risk that you really can't control. But there are risks that you can. You can tell the story. You can organize the mine properly. You can do your technical work. You can make sure that that the company is well capitalized, and that you can make sure that there are funds available for all the work that you need to do to enhance shareholder value.
You are also a director at Newfound Gold. So we have to slide in a question here. When this project was first brought to you, what about it got you interested in getting involved? And how has it been, or how has it met your expectations?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? The deposit at Newfound is a dead ringer for Fosterville. So I was the VP of corporate development for Newmarket, and Newmarket was the company that merged with Crocodile Gold, and Crocodile Gold had the Fosterville mine. And at that time, that the discovery of that new Swan Zone had not been made, but we saw the potential. And so fast forward to Newfound, the geology, you know, it's the same age, it's the same rocks, the chemistry and the occurrence of this gold is very similar to that of Fosterville. And like Hemlo, it's on the Trans-Canada Highway. So it's a discovery that that has all the earmarks of something that's really wonderful. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Doug.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And in the meantime, give us a quick like.